Hello and welcome to a new addition to Paradox Does Stuff lineup. I'll be doing these Final Fantasy VII podcasts in anticipation for the remake, which has been confirmed for the 3rd of March 2020. Joining me today is a man whose work you would have definitely seen if you've been to any kind of convention in the UK. If you haven't heard of him, you've definitely seen his pics floating around Google or Facebook here. It's a Spindashdude.
Hi there. Thanks for
And
having me.
you're very welcome. It's very nice to have you here. It's this is definitely probably the greatest cosplay of Cloud Strife that exists, and I think that is just an agreed thing. And I'm quite picky with certain cosplays that characters mean a lot to me. And I think Cloud is a character who's quite hard to do to kind of to get that look down, and you do it incredibly, dude. So
Oh,
yeah,
thank you. I have to, I do have to kind of like have so many people to thank for helping me put together some bits and pieces. It's been a long journey. My wallet has definitely felt the effects of it, but I'm really glad that people enjoy it and people like it. There's still a lot of work to be done. Things that I can see that a lot of people said, don't worry about it. But if I'm gonna try and be as good as I want to be, then I think I've got to keep pushing it.
I feel exactly the same way. I think we've had this conversation before about how we're always our worst critiques when it comes to cosplay and how we
Absolutely,
probably definitely spent way too much money on it.
absolutely, yeah.
But it's all worth it for these characters, especially someone like Cloud Strife, who we've known for 22 years now.
Oof,
And people, he
yeah.
does get a reaction because he's got to be the coolest JRPG protagonist of all time, I think, without question.
I think he's absolutely mine. I know some people would favour towards other characters, but for me, I think he's imperfect. He's a bit selfish. He had to learn to love a world that he'd kind of cast
Yeah,
aside.
exactly.
He's not perfect, and that's I think what drew myself to him because I'm by no means perfect.
Yeah,
So
especially
yeah,
through the classic game where he's dealing with some really heady kind of mental stuff. He's not as people kind of throw this emo title on him, which I strongly disagree with. He's not. He's cold in the beginning of the game, but becomes a goofball by the end
yeah,
of it.
yeah. I agree,
Complete
and
goof.
I think for me the bit that, and I agree with you when I say I don't like this whole emo thing, because I know with Advent Children a lot of people didn't like who he'd become because they thought he'd become quite emo. But I think it's when you think about everything that he went through and the people he'd loved, the people he'd lost, the fact that something else was coming, this geostigma, and he was caught by it, and he just felt like he
Exactly.
failed to save Tifa when he was a kid. He kept failing, and people in his own town just thought of him as a bit of a failure. So to kind of be that again, and he failed to save Aerith. Spoiler alert. Um,
Yeah, a
um,
thousand percent.
I think it makes sense that he would be like that, and if he wasn't, then it would kind of make you question his character.
Yeah, if he came out like in big clown shoes like Sora and was like all smiley, it wouldn't make any sense. I defend Advent Children to the ends of the earth because it is exactly what you would expect for a man who, during the events of the game anyway, was already dealing with some form of PTSD,
Yes.
and then it gets a bunch worse. Of
Yeah.
course, he's gonna need that kind of time to just be himself and throw his old Motorola away, that kind of stuff.
I do need to get
Yeah,
that phone.
do you know I had one very similar as a kid, except for his has got like gold hints on it. I think I've got like a
Yeah,
silvery one.
I think he's got I think it's a Panasonic. His phone.
Yeah, no, I think it is. I think they was plugging Panasonic at the time.
Yeah.
Always
So
doing
tried
crazy.
I've tried to find one. A friend gave me one for a picture at MCM, which was quite cool. But trying to find one is is
So
good luck.
if I can dig it out, I'll send some photos to you. I think you could take some use from it.
I'll definitely pay you for it if you don't want it anymore.
I mean, I'd probably just give it to you. Like, you probably can't even get like I don't know anything on it anymore. It's like really old. It's
What about some
probably
pints then?
yeah.
I'll buy you some pints then, or some
Yeah, let's
rum.
do that. We'll do that. Yeah, Expo's if it's shockingly not that far away, and I will be going to this October one. Um, so let's break it down. The first thing I want to talk about, we've got I think it was 3 new trailers that came out of E3, and in the exact same fashion they did with Kingdom Hearts 3 last year. There was a Final Fantasy VII concert. Unlike Distant Worlds, it was
Hmm.
exclusively for Final Fantasy VII, and the original director was said to be in attendance, and he apparently doesn't leave Japan for anything. So we said, well, I guess this is going to be some big kind of news going down. And they then, of course, following Kingdom Hearts 3's footsteps, they dropped that first trailer. And I think that was the first time we saw Aerith, wasn't it?
I think you're right. I think we just got to see her very, very briefly.
Yeah, and then that was a couple weeks before, and it said more to come in June. That was it. Yeah, my bad. And then they gave us the release date of that concert, which March 3rd, 2020. How do you feel about the release date? Think it's like a good, healthy distance away, or
yeah. I think I mean I always knew it wouldn't be this side of Christmas. I knew it wouldn't be this side, just because the amount of from what I read online and things like that, it didn't have the best start. It had a bit of a rocky start, and they had to kind of scrap everything and start again. A lot of the voice actors as well were removed and replaced and things like that, so they had to literally start from scratch. So
it was a massive shame.
But yeah, there's a lot of things like Steve Burton, which you and I have both spoke about. I thought it was the perfect voice for Cloud, but I'm willing to give like the new guy, a shot and see how he does. It doesn't sound unlike what I'd expect Cloud to sound like, so I'm quite pleased with his voice. But I think Steve Burton will always be number one at the moment, anyway.
I wholeheartedly agree.
But I think 2020 was something I always thought it was going to be late winter, early spring. So I'm quite happy that I was, for once in my life, right. Well.
You did fantastically. I think it's been a given, but also is Square Enix, so it could have been, here's a release window for the next 10 years of your life.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I'm a Kingdom Hearts fan. I know all about that. Kingdom Hearts 3, I was waiting, I think it's 14, 15 years for that game.
Oof, a long time.
Yeah, and overall, fantastic game with some things that I wish had gone a different way. For example, I don't want to spoil a story for you, in case you haven't played it, but there's no Final Fantasy characters.
Yeah, I did hear, which was a bit of a shame. It was a bit of a shame, but
we had to find out before the game came out through Steve Burton and the gentleman who voiced the school, who I don't remember his name, but they was like, no, they sit this one out. But I find it interesting that they're like good buddies in real life. I think that's kind of fun.
I think they should both just cosplay the guys. Just give us
I think they should. Yeah, I think they should. That'd be fantastic. I love it when actors do that.
Yeah.
So the first thing in terms of the remake to talk about is comparing it to the original. The first thing that really kind of hit me with the shivers and the kind of, oh my god, that's amazing, is that shot of Cloud walking in through the reactor gate and the camera pans up and you see it. I went, that is the shot. That's the shot. Right.
Was that like the old game? Well, it wasn't the game cover, but they'd used that shot a few times on.
Yeah.
I think they re-released the game with that cover, but yeah, it's quite a iconic shot.
Yeah, it was just, I think it was their kind of showing off at the time of, look what we can do in video games now. This is 3 dimensions. Crazy to think that was the best technology that we had to offer in the 90s, but it still has a charm to it. Like the graphics itself aren't by any means amazing these days, but I think it has that charm to it that I don't ever have a problem going back and playing it.
Yeah.
But when they did announce the remake, it was a case of, would I like to see how they would have done it now if they had this technology? Of course I would. But then it was a case of, well, it's Square Enix. How many more decades after announcing it will I have to wait? And I think we're up to 2015. It was announced, I think it was 2015, so that's 4 years?
I think so. I think you're right with that as well. It could have almost been expected that when that their latest trailer dropped to the release date, they could have said, coming 20 something.
Yeah.
We would have been all right with it. Well, we would have waited. We would have bitched and moaned, but we would have waited.
Coming sometime before now and your death.
That's it. We might finish it at some point this decade. We're not sure yet.
And with the release date and the new trailers, we had a look at the combat, which was something in the trailers. The first Aerith trailer we saw was where we saw all the new redesigns, the new character models and such. and it does look like a different game when you compare the two. I didn't notice at first, and I compared that Cloud to this Cloud, and you picked up immediately on the hair, and I see it. It's almost as if his hair. I think it's kind of smaller in a way. Cloud's hair in your head was a bit bigger.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get me wrong. I think I'm loving the look of the new game. It does mean I've now got to go down to the gym to buff up to be a bit more like Cloud. But
Yeah.
I felt like I preferred the hair of the first one. Like Cloud's, one of his iconic things is his hair and a giant sword. And I feel like
Yeah.
the redesign, as much as I love it, I feel like the hair just needs to. It just doesn't have that kind of presence that it once did. Maybe they've just done it to make it a little bit realistic, which I can kind of understand. But I kind of liked that whole very anime, very spiky, very layered look that he had.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe they might come back to that, or maybe this is the final thing. I'm not going to bitch and moan about it, but if I was to be asked honestly, I think I did prefer the hair of the first trailers they started to release.
I agree with you because, like, I think the giveaway is the title. It doesn't have to be realistic. It's called Final Fantasy. It's real. So give us the crazy hair, and I mean, there's crazier things. Barrett's got a fucking machine gun on his arm.
Very, very true.
Pulling the trigger, he has fingers.
If we're okay with that, then I'm sure we can be okay with slightly more.
I would agree. The new combat, it looks a bit different from the combat we saw in the older trailers. And the first time we saw it, I was kind of not sure how I felt about it because it looked. Really I'm going to struggle to find the correct word for this, but kind of, I don't know, dull in a way. Like, I don't know, I gotta be honest, it looks dull, but when we saw this new stuff at E3, that's when I was sold. That demo where they take on Guard Scorpion, or they're calling it Guard 71 now, but I'm going to put it.
Yeah.
And you saw them dash between characters, and it goes on the wall, so then you have to dash between Barrett to shoot it down and all that kind of stuff. I thought it looked really good. I think it's a nice blend of the turn-based elements that we've got in the original game, adding some more up-to-date stuff. And the combat system is designed by the folks who did the Kingdom Hearts 2 combat system, which I think is the greatest combat system in an action RPG of the time. So I feel in safe hands there.
I do, and I must admit they had it up against. Oh, sorry, let me start again. They were up against it when it came to the combat system because I feel like the community was very, very divided. A lot of people were like, "No, I want to go back to the turn-based, not standing so much in a line. Maybe we can add some animations to it, but I want a turn-based game." And then there were other people that maybe had joined on later who'd kind of fallen in love with the whole 15 style of combat, which started to get adopted from 12, was it? I mean, 11's online, so I'm not really counting that, but I think 12 was one of the first ones to kind of do run round freely.
I think it might have been 13. I didn't actually play 12, unfortunately. No, I think it's 13, and then it got expanded with that further in 15. I think 15 was the first kind of have the battlefield, walk around it, jump, do whatever you need to.
Okay, all right. Whichever one it was, but a lot of people who come on board during that preferred that kind of free movement thing. So whichever way they kind of went, they were going to disappoint someone. But I think this mixture between turn-based and switching between characters, so you're utilizing your team, but freely being able to move and feeling like a modern Final Fantasy VII game. Because as you said, we're taking a game that was 22 years old now. And you're trying to bring it into a modern audience. There's been people that are now been born and are now young adults during that time that it's taken. So you had to make some changes and make it a little bit more modern and something that was going to grab audiences because of what they're used to now. So if we've gone back to the old version, I think people have been a bit underwhelmed with it.
Yeah, I could agree. If it came out and it was turn-based, I'd feel right at home. If they just copy and pasted that combat system into the game, and they made the worlds 3D and all that kind of stuff, and they gave us voice acting, I would have felt right at home. It wouldn't have bothered me at all. But I can see a modern audience who maybe started and was introduced to these characters through things like Dissidia or Kingdom Hearts. They're going to be like, hang on a minute, you've taken all the control away from me here. My girlfriend, I got to play it recently, and she's just got to I think she's just met Aerith,
Okay.
and
Okay.
she's enjoying the story, but she's like, I've just come off of things like Spider-Man PS4 and Kingdom Hearts 3, and now I'm here. I don't get it. So I can understand. And then I showed her the trailers for the new one, and she was like, "See, I could get behind that." And I was like, "You don't get it. You don't get it."
You just don't get it. It's funny you mentioned that because I've got a friend of mine who we're going to MCM together as Cloud and Eric,
Cool.
which I'm very much looking forward to. And she's just started playing the game because she wanted to play the game so that she got to know the character and
Sure.
understood it and grew to love them so that she could cosplay them and not feel guilty about it. Which, I get that. That's very, very sweet. I think anyone should be able to cosplay who they want, but I kind of like it when people have...
Yeah, to go the extra mile to kind of be true to that person, yeah.
Exactly. And I don't think she's got much further than meeting Aerith and wandering around with her. But I need to ask her what her opinions are because she's come off things like online sort of fantasy sort of games. So I really need to find out what her opinion on it because that'd be quite interesting to hear. See if it matches your girlfriend's.
Yeah, no, I think my girlfriend is just a bit stubborn. I think she will warm up to it. I may play the Kingdom Hearts games as well, and she Kingdom Hearts 2 is I think her favorite one. But she was really stubborn with that game at first as well. She's like, I don't like the camera; it's just not working properly. And then by the end of the game, she gets to another Kingdom Hearts game. It's like, why can't it be as perfect as Kingdom Hearts 2? That camera worked. I get that one. And then she was playing like Birth by Sleep and was like, I can't. But no, I think she'll warm up to it and she'll probably be listening to this at some point. So hi, not just slagging you off, I'm praising you as well. Yeah, so there's that side of it. Although you could also recommend to your friend Crisis Core or even just the cinematics of it. It's hard to come by.
I think her next one on the list is 10. Her next one because 10 is my second favourite one, which I felt was very similar to 7 in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, I think she's gonna just get through 7 and then just in time when the remake comes out, and then she'll be on that, and I'll never hear from her again.
Yeah, no, 10 is a classic one. That was fantastic. I'm gonna buy the PS4 edition soon because I've got I want to get them all stacked up next to each other in a line on my PS4 menu.
Oh, very cool, very cool.
Especially with 8 coming out now.
A lot of people, were excited for that. A lot of people were very, very excited, and I do feel like 8 almost seems like the younger brother that we don't talk about.
It is. It's the uncle who comes around at Christmas, gets a bit too drunk, and you throw him in a closet.
Exactly.
We love you. You're our uncle, but I don't know. I need to finish that game. I never finished it because I got a bit tired of how I think it's the junction system worked.
See, now it's interesting you say that because a lot of people have found that 8 is like the Marmite of the Final Fantasy world because the junction system, you either love it or you hate it.
Yeah, exactly.
I wasn't a big fan of it but then again, I must admit, I played 7, then I went on to 8, and I'd fallen in love with 7, so I'm a little bit biased anyway. But yeah. I soldiered through it, and I kind of got the hang of it later on. But it was a bit difficult to get the hang of it first.
It's got some tedious mechanics to it. The story though is fantastic. And before we go on a bloody Final Fantasy VIII tangent, we'll finish with the fact that it's got one of the greatest openings of a Final Fantasy game ever.
Absolutely.
That track.
Couldn't agree more.
Amazing. But okay, so getting back to the remake, I like how the combat looks now, and I think it does look well designed, and it's got like a nice pace to it. Also, in that trailer, we get introduced to Tifa for the first time.
Oh, well, the crowd went wild.
Yes, they did. And were you watching the panel live?
No. No. I watched. I actually stayed up till I think 2:00 in the morning.
Right.
So that's a lie. I did stay up and see the panel live for it, and I was literally on the edge of my sofa. I think if I'd gotten any closer, I would have been making out of my screen. Not because of Tifa, but just the whole Final Fantasy VII.
It was an amazing experience. I think what I loved the most about it, not the trailers. I think I loved how they opened it. The curtains they part, the screen back, and then the menu, and then remake at the bottom. It was kind of reminiscent of the Final Fantasy VII Abridged, with the remake button at the bottom, and it says still downloading, and then you click on it. Crowd goes absolutely mental. Fantastic way to open. To be in that room, feel that electricity in the air.
So good. I think when the original 2015 trailer came out, I think I actually prefer watching the E3 reaction than I do the original trailer.
Yeah.
There's just so much energy in that.
Yeah, because I remember the specific one where it's like these 4 people sitting around a panel, and they're like, "This looks like it could be," and I was like, "I'm gonna wait till I hear the chimes," and he goes, and he's like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah,
Nothing will ever top that.
No, that's it. There's so many reaction videos that I just love seeing. There's this guy, and he's this big kind of muscle-bound dude,
Right.
and he's like watching it, and you can see his eyes start to widen when he's like, "Is it? Is it? Is it?" And then when they get to the end, he's like, "Oh my god, it's Final Fantasy VII. Is this just like a graphics thing like they did last time, or is it?" And then Remake popped up on the screen, and he let out the highest pitched scream I've ever heard in my life. It was so good. I'll find the video and I'll send it to you because it just makes my heart sing.
Yeah, do so.
Every time I watch it, I just can't help but smile. And I'm right there with you, buddy.
I love those ones. I saw one quite similar to that, but it was a Star Wars one when The Force Awakens was coming out.
Oh, okay.
And it was this guy who's clearly like in his 40s or 50s. Once again, massive dude, could like kill me by flicking me or whatever the hell, right? And then Han Solo comes on the screen. Chewie, we're home. Guy cries, and it was the most beautiful fucking thing I'd ever seen.
Oh,
like those are the 2 greatest hypes to top it all. Like Star Wars returning and Final Fantasy VII returning. Great year, 97 for a lot of reasons. Even Harry Potter came out. So yeah, we get Tifa, and I really dig her design.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad there's some bits that they, and I think everyone knows what I'm referring to when I say they've toned down, and I'm happy about that. You know,
I don't care about it. Like,
I was gonna say it was nothing that I ever really looked at, but then used to look at fan art and things like that, and thought, come on now, like I like them as much as the next guy or the next girl or just the next person.
Yeah.
But you know, let's make it realistic here.
Yeah, exactly. No, like I understand that it's well and good of them to go, hey, you're changing the original. Don't mess with it. It's like, oh, come on, guy. We've already changed a lot of things. That's the first thing you want to complain about. We know you don't care about the original.
She's not real. Come on.
Yeah, I think she looks fine. Like,
I think she looks great. I think she looks great. I mean, this is coming from, and I'm sorry I'm going to upset some people. This is coming from, strongly Team Aerith camp over here. I think Tifa looks great.
Yeah, no. That's cool, man. Like I'm personally Team Tifa.
Oh! I might as well just end this chat here then.
It's I don't know. I love Aerith. I love her. I really love her art, and it does break my heart, and it's gonna break my heart to 1,000 million pieces when let's say episode 29 of this game comes out, which is something I want to talk about next. That will eventually break me. So what we do find out is the first game is going to be Midgar exclusive. And I read that in an article and I went, no, that's not right, because I just watched the panel and it said it's 2 discs. So I went, that's someone's misheard that.
Holy crap.
And it's true. We've got 2 whole discs of Midgar.
PS4 discs, like the size of these games.
That's Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's going to be being compared to. Now, my problem is, if I'm not paying attention to the story, and I'm not paying attention to getting every chest or whatever, I can get through Midgar in, I'd say, 3 hours? Around that time. If I'm just breezing through the game, I can get through Midgar relatively quickly. I don't know how I can understand expanding that world a bit more. But how far do we go that we need 2 discs of Midgar?
I think there's a lot of things they're going to start fleshing out. Like, I think we're going to start maybe seeing backstories and a lot more screen time for characters like Biggs, Wedge, and Jesse, who we were meant to be. I think that's going to be great because, I think it was always meant that we were supposed to fall in love with those characters, and to have them die was going to be a heartbreaking thing. But obviously, back in 7, it was difficult to kind of get that across. So I think we're going to see a lot, maybe even mini missions Like we saw bits and pieces with. I'm pretty sure that was Jesse on the back of Cloud's bike at one point.
Yeah, that was yeah.
So I think maybe there's going to be a few other submissions that they have to do, which would make sense because Cloud would, in theory, get involved with a few of the bits and pieces. If he's getting paid for it, he's going to want to stick around. And maybe they might flesh out some bits and pieces with Sephiroth there, as we saw in some of the bits and pieces, the smoke floating around Aerith. That's got to be something Sephiroth-esque. And maybe we might see some more of Cloud's demons coming across earlier on.
I did read a thing about those fog things, saying that in the original game, there was supposed to be fog-like creatures that would show up at random times.
Oh.
And would be pieces of Genova.
Okay, so like the reunion kind of guys in the cloaks.
Exactly. That's why I heard something like that. So if they want to take in ideas that are things that we are technically original we haven't seen yet, go forth. I think my worry is the comment that was made after. And that comment was, we don't know how many episodes this is going to be. And then they followed up by saying, will the time be shorter in between? And they're saying, I mean, probably not. It's probably going to be around the same time. And so we're up to 4 or 5 years of waiting for this game. I wonder if that includes time. Are they including that time where they scrapped and started again? If not, then that's only like 2 years. Go for it, right?
Yeah.
But then it did kind of retroactively come out the next day and kind of soften that blow, because obviously it was getting bad press. It was like, but of course we are going to be reusing assets and character models, so it will be, more efficient to get it done. But I worry, Midgar. It's the prologue. You barely scratched the surface of. Did you play Kingdom Hearts 2?
I haven't played any Kingdom Hearts, to be fair with you.
Fair enough, that's fair. I was going to make a comparison. I'll make it anyway for those who are listening.
Yeah.
So it's like having the Twilight Town section at the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 2 become its own game. It's like, well, what do you do? That's 2 discs. A disc of Midgar. Okay, we can do that. I can see how that could work, and I love that. And then maybe the second disc be the adventures from Calm to, let's say, Costa del Sol. Getting on the ship. That'll be. I think that's a perfect cliffhanger. As you leave, you're leaving the continent you're currently on. I think that works because with 2 discs in one game, and that game covers, let's say, I don't know, 10%, or is that too less or too much? I think that's about fair.
Yeah.
About 10% of the story. Where does that leave us? And how old am I going to be when we get to the Northern Crater? Yeah, like how old am I going to be when we get to the Northern Crater? I'm quite worried.
Yeah, it's quite a lot, and I must admit when you told me, because it's the first I've heard that the 2 discs, or it's going to be 2 discs. I knew it would be Midgar would be kind of episode 1 sort of thing. It does make me wonder what they're going to do to flesh out, but maybe they're going to touch more on things like with Dom Corletti. Is it Corletti? I can never pronounce it.
Oh, that
Corneo. Yeah. Maybe
Cloud is confirmed there.
Yes, it is. So maybe we might go more into that. Maybe we might see some more instances of the Turks appearing, trying to chase and get hold of Aerith in Midgar. Maybe there's some other storylines that they wanted to expand on that they couldn't in the original. So I'm going in with an open mind, but I must admit, sitting there thinking what they're going to do to make this game span over 2 discs.
I am. I'm very hyped for it, and I think a cool segment will be with the cross-dressing Cloud is maybe he ends up liking it and signs up for like the next season of RuPaul's Drag Race or something like that. I could get behind. I could get behind that, and I'd watch that season and I love it. But it does leave me worried because it's kind of. Have you finished Game of Thrones now?
Yes.
Fantastic. I don't want to spoil it for you. Okay, spoilers. No, actually, I can do this without spoiling Game of Thrones. It's like Game of Thrones, season 1 to like season 4 or 5.
Yep.
It takes its time. We're fleshing out everything. Everyone has a backstory. We've got dialogue. We've got time for all of this. We get to season 6, 7, and 8, and I happen to like season 6 quite a lot. And it's like, where can die eventually. You know that, guys. So should we try and wrap this up? And then it starts rushing, and I worry, is that going to happen to Final Fantasy VII? I also worry that maybe you get to maybe the third installment, and maybe we've only just gotten to like Cosmo Canyon, and it's like, is the market still going to be wanting this? Will they be able to finish it, kind of thing? There are worries that go along with my hype, and my hype is huge. It can't be contained, and I cannot wait for March 3rd to play this game and lock myself in a room and talk to no one for as long as it takes me. 2 discs, that's a long game.
That's a long.
I am worried about the future of how it's going to work.
Yeah, I must admit, I've heard rumors about the amount of parts they're thinking about doing, and it's going to be. I think we're looking at least a decade of Final Fantasy VII.
Which does sound like, if you say that to me, we've got a nice solid decade of Final Fantasy VII. That doesn't sound unappealing. That actually sounds really fantastic.
Yeah.
That's like, oh, awesome. But the problem becomes the distance between these sections. Like, you wait for an off season for your show to come back online or on air or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You expect that. But with a company who's got a track record like Square Enix, and a man called Tetsuya Nomura, who, God bless the man, really needs a holiday.
Yes.
Like, he needs a holiday, and people are overworked in Japan as it is. I worry that, like, how this is so ambitious to want to extend it that much. It's incredibly ambitious. If I was put in charge of this project, I'd probably make, I think, multiple parts is a good idea. I think I'd only go to 2 or 3 parts though.
Well, it would make sense to go with the amount of discs there were in the first installment.
Exactly, and it says it right there. That game at its time was pushing its luck. It had to be 3 discs. It was so massive. But saying, okay, well, that's so big, we can't put that all on 1 disc on PS4. We have to make more. Of course you do. But you're pushing the boundaries of gaming now. Just make 3 discs, follow in its footsteps, and get it done. I think I would have much preferred. Because I think you get to the end of this game, and you love it. It was amazing, and I have every faith that it's going to be an incredible game. It will probably challenge our views of the game and kind of give us new things, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what new stuff we're going to get. I can't wait to see more of Biggs, Wedge, and Jesse. We were robbed of an opportunity to love them a bit more.
Yes, agree.
And I think that would be cool, especially if you add in elements from Final Fantasy 15. Maybe Cloud's bike becomes like the Regalia from 15, and you go around doing side missions. That would be kind of funny.
That would be kind of cool. That would be kind of cool.
Because he's a mercenary. He doesn't just blow things up. If you read the bio, he's a mercenary. He'll do anything for money. So it's not out of character to have loads of side missions like that.
Yeah, it might not work just for Avalanche, as you say. You might pick up that. Maybe how you gain Gil at the start of the game is you pick up just side missions to do for people around Midgar. Right. So maybe there might be a bit of a dying light kind of element where you just have to kind of look at the map. The division sort of thing actually might be even better. Look at the map, see who needs help, and you gain Gil by doing little side missions like protecting people from Shinra infantry and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. I think that kind of stuff works. Kind of like similar to like Crisis Core, where you have to escort Aerith to places and stuff like that. Which in that game was actually quite an annoying mission where you have to go and find all those pieces for the cart, the flower cart, and she's not even happy with it anyway. And it's like, this was really annoying. This was annoying. You have to love it. But no, I can understand that. I think something they could also implement, if we're going to have 2 discs of Midgar, you've got to really kind of think outside the box. We could probably get different playable characters. Maybe play from a different character's perspective. Maybe play as the Turks for a while. Maybe. Maybe someone around Reno and Rude. Exactly. I could get behind that. I could like that. As much as it hurts to leave Steve Burton and George Newbern, if Quinton Flynn has been usurped, that is when I riot. I can't see how they get anyone else for Reno. He is Reno. He is. Yeah, he's Reno. Is the same way he plays the same character and everything. He's Reno. He's Axel. They're all the same person. You can't usurp him, and that would hurt. I would really like to know what the decision behind the recast
I feel like they had plenty of actors there that would have were clearly willing to do the job. It's very strange that they would decide to change. I mean, I've still loved the game regardless of what happens, but it would be interesting to find out why they decided to remove the entire cast.
Yeah, I mean,
they were there and willing.
Yeah, they were already in previous trailers, and I think it's got to come out at some point because it's not just like one person; it's the entire cast has been nuked.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that fascinating. And I think it's really got to hurt for people like Steve and George who've been doing it since like 2001, I think. Since Steve Burton's been doing Cloud.
I think so. I think that's when Advent Children came out. Yeah.
Yeah, like a really early time. So I imagine that will come out. They'll probably do like a interview at some point. So as going into the game, what are the things that you are looking forward to most?
I'm looking forward to seeing summons.
Oh my god, that'll be amazing.
I'm really looking forward to seeing what the Bahamut brothers, Neo Bahamut, and Zero Bahamut.
Yeah.
Looking at what those guys look like when they come into the field, like are they going to take I think with Final Fantasy 15 it was a very random thing where they
I didn't like that.
Pop up. No, I kind of liked having the control.
I didn't like not knowing.
So I'll be curious to see what they do. Will they take on a 10 kind of vibe where they'll stick around for a little while and do damage and have their own health, or will they take on a 15 kind of thing where they'll appear, do this massive ass attack, and then they'll disappear again until you summon them? So I'm just very much looking forward to those. Knights of the Round, like I know we're talking that's not be till when that decides to come out, that part, because you got to get your golden chocobo for that.
That mountain.
That would be interesting as well. Like, are they going to change how you get Knights of the Round? Because you had to go onto kind of a world map to be able to run over things. Like if Midgar is 2 discs worth of stuff, a world map is going to be huge.
It's good. It's got to be. It's got to be incredible. The problem with it being Midgar is, I don't know if I'm going to get bored of looking at it aesthetically.
Well, yeah.
Unless we get to see more sectors. I didn't think of that. There's more sectors we've never been to.
Well, exactly. I think they only dropped the plate on one of them. But we only ever blew up one reactor. So maybe we might see some more sectors that we need to go into. That would be awesome.
We could see like the rich sectors where like the actual Shinra executives live. That we've never seen that.
No. So
I would like to see Midgar in the daytime a bit more though, like we did see in Advent Children.
Yes.
I think we'll get bored aesthetically of seeing it at nighttime and looking grotty all the time. I think it's supposed to look like that original game, so that when you leave and then the world map, it's also bright and vibrant. You're supposed to feel like Midgar is this crushing weight of poverty and oppression that's literally above you. When you leave it, because Aerith has never seen, she's never seen the sky or something like that.
Yeah, I think that used to be the thing, wasn't it? Because the plates above, she'd never really seen. So it'd be interesting if they're going to change the design of that. And as you said, is Midgar just going to look like this city that the air is just literally polluted and smog is so thick that you can't see the sky in front, which is why it looks so dark? Are they going to then flesh out the world map kind of area so that looks just so lush and beautiful? I don't know. It's going to be an interesting one.
It is. It's still very interesting. It's going to be. I think it's 7 months to release. I think it is something like that.
Yeah, I think so. Where are we now? So it's June, July, August, September, October, November, December, February, January, February, March. 9 months. Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't far off. See, that's not that bad a wait, and we'll probably get more trailers and information leading up to it. For me, personally, I'm very much looking forward to seeing Red 13. I love him.
He's got to be the next one, surely. Because thinking about the story...
We've got everyone that's going to be in the party in that first disc.
Yeah. Well, think about it as well. I think he was the next one to join in. I don't think anyone else came until later.
Go to break Aerith out, he's there. And then that's it for Midgar. They could sneak Yuffie in, because you don't meet her in that further after Midgar.
No. Depending on if you wanted to kind of look for her.
Yeah,
you could find her much later, or you could find her quite early. So I think
that would be an interesting feature if you could meet her at the end of disc 1, but it's a secret,
oh yeah,
or then you just have to wait till the next game. That could be
that would
interesting.
be good. That would be good. That would be very, very good. I'm looking forward to, though, if I must admit, because my party was always Cloud, Red 13, and Vincent, and I'm really looking forward to seeing Vincent's transformations.
Oh my god, Vincent's transformations would be epic. My party is actually much the same as yours. I mean, Cloud is mandatory.
Yes.
I also had Red 13 on because I loved him, and Cosmo Memory was such an incredible fucking.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Admittedly, I didn't use Vincent as much as I would like, but I do. I tell myself every time I do a new playthrough, it's like we'll use a different character this time, so I can do that kind of stuff. It's usually Tifa, Cloud. I tend not to put any kind of materia or equipment on Aerith because I'm like, why waste it?
Yeah, it's so true. It's so
I have
true.
got her ultimate limit break a few times though, which is always quite satisfying.
It is. I just felt like, I wanted to get to it, and I never actually did, to be fair, because I'd start playing as her, and I'd be like, oh, what's the point? But maybe in the remake, I think I'll be a lot more inclined to, because we've got 2 discs of her.
Yeah.
Possibly 3, possibly 4. Oh yeah, I'm gonna hate it. I'm gonna be like all that XP I invested into you. Can I download the Aerith Lives DLC for £200, please?
Yeah, please. I think something interesting that could be implemented is in Kingdom Hearts 3 we've got up to 5 party members now, and I think that would be a feature I would really like to see. Because something that really bothered me is you go to do these lovely story parts and you go, oh, darn it, I wish I could have seen how Vincent reacted to this.
Yes.
Shoot. What about Yuffie? Or you can't do it because you only get 3 people at a time.
Yes.
But
yes,
I think,
very true.
Well, I think with this new tech, and especially leading into PS5, you might be able to have the whole squad with us. You know, because we get the high wind and we get the buggy, and we could fit them all in.
Mm-hmm.
Road trip. So there's a lot to look forward to.
Well, that's the thing as well. I'm curious about if this will be PS4, because I know we're seeing a lot of things and it is advertising PS4, but Sony didn't obviously appear at E3, from what I remember anyway. They're having their own kind of panel thing. And I've got a secret suspicion that they're going to announce the PS5, and then everyone that's all the trailers for Final Fantasy VII will then say coming to PS5.
I think it could be a launch title for PS5 for sure.
I think it would. I think it'd make a lot of sense. There's a lot of people that really, really want to play the game, and me myself, I'm an Xbox man these days, and I've always said I will buy a PlayStation for the remake game. I think a lot of people would do the same thing.
Especially because I just watched a video earlier today, actually, which is quite funny. The specs of the PS5 have been released.
Okay.
And it does it really cool. It's backwards compatible. It's 8K for some ridiculous reason.
8K, Jesus.
Yeah, and the loading times, I think it's less than a second between waiting screens. It looks phenomenal. They released a little clip of that. And they're saying for the next 3 years, the PS4 is still going to be their bulk income, which leads PS5. Apparently, this will mean the PS5 will actually be a bit cheaper to get than a new console would be.
Oh.
Which is quite exciting, because if they do release it alongside the PS5, that's a bundle right there.
It is.
That is a release a release game if there ever was one.
It really is. It's funny you mention that. I was actually in game earlier today, and I was talking to one of the guys there, and I said, look, is there going to be any sort of midnight releases for this? It's a bit early to tell, obviously, because it's only just been announced. But he said, hang on a second, I recognise your tattoo. You do a Cloud cosplay, don't you? And I said, yeah. And he was wow. If we do one, would you be interested in coming down to this, like doing a midnight release? So I'm going to be keeping my ear to the floor, or to the ground, sorry, to see if
that's fantastic.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. I'd be really curious to see if they're going to be bringing out some big things with 7, because then that would mean midnight launches would be a thing. And I'm an attention whore, so I'm well up for that.
Yeah, dude, if that happens, hit me up and I'll come down and I'll cover that. That sounds amazing, Zach, if that goes down.
Yeah, 100%.
Fantastic, man.
Really, really
I
cool.
think we've gone for 45 minutes now. That was incredible.
Awesome.
I got to thank you again, once again, to Spindashdude. And where can they find you, man?
Thank you for having me. You can find me on Instagram at Spindashdude. Facebook is Spin-Adventures. Really need to change that actually. And recently TikTok as well, Spindashdude,
Yes.
where I just do ridiculous stuff because I get bored at home and I can't afford hookers.
Crazy editing on your phone, though. I gotta give it to you. Crazy editing.
Oh, I literally just sit there with mobile apps and I'll be there for hours just to get like
the
one
that,
damn pixel.
the one that sticks with me that I always kind of go, wow, that's incredible. Is you was at the mirror, you dropped the phone, and then Cloud catches it on the other side.
Oh yeah, I really need to redo that because the screen quality wasn't great on that one. I had to use another app to kind of reverse
Right.
the catch, and it's a bit dark. But I've got this for TikTok, and I need to get a new one because I broke it. But I've got like a ring light tripod, which makes the quality a lot better and it's a lot easier to see.
Oh,
So
cool.
I think I'm gonna have to give that a go and reverse and redo that, especially with the new modifications that I've got. So yeah,
Really?
same music, just swap it around.
Awesome. Well, that's episode 1. Thank you all for tuning in. Once again, thanks Spindashdude. You can find him on Instagram. His work is fantastic. And hopefully see you guys for some more Final Fantasy VII news whenever Square Enix decides to drop it.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, people.
Thanks for having me.
Peace out, guys.
Harley Quinn here. Don't forget to subscribe to my Puddin' Paradox for more geeky content. Also, don't forget to hit that little bell so you get notified whenever he posts a brand new video.